Hey, it's VortexTCG here, and today I'm going to be showcasing you a gameplay video between myself playing DarkKnightmon and my opponent playing Gaiomon. And yeah, if you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I tend to upload every other day, and I'm playing DarkKnightmon because of you guys voting for it. Sometimes I'll post some polls that might ask like, what do you want to see on the channel, what decks do you like to see, and one of them was what deck I should play, and you guys vote for DarkKnightmon. So here's the second game from the locals that I played in earlier the week. And so I get a pretty good start here. I get to search off with the Mighty Axe, and I also have a level 3, which is quite rare because I don't play that many level 3s in this build. My opponent has a pretty good start, but it's clear that he hasn't got all the answers in his hand because he's just gone into an Agumon and then double red memory boost. But I do have the Tumon here, which is obviously going to limit the amount of plays that he can do. So he then goes into the X antibody, hoping to find some answers, maybe the level 4. I assume he's searching for the level 4 here, but he doesn't find it, unfortunately. And so at this point, you know, this is just basically like it's just stranded on the field essentially, because now I have pretty much control of it. So I'm gonna go into another Tumon in my hand, which is really good. So just in case this gets deleted from the Metal Greymon. Now I'm just considering, do I want to get rid of this thing? And what I want to do here is go into the Nene. So if he ever does find the answer to beat the board, essentially, I can have a blocker ready. And so I attempt to swing at the security. It does die, but that's fine. Fuels me up for the Immortal Ruler that I play in my deck. And then I go into Digicross for the Dark Knight for 4, deleting the Agu X antibody. So obviously, you know, my opponent clearly doesn't have the answers, and I'm really taking advantage of that because now I can potentially swing for lethal next turn. And so he has to hard play an Agumon. He finally finds level 4, but at this point it's too little too late. Maybe he could have done more this turn if it wasn't for the Tumon, but turns out Tumon is pretty good. And so he goes for the Greymon X antibody, but again, a little bit too late. And so he's considering what he wants to do at this point. And then he just goes into the Agu X antibody in raising, and then, apologies for the glare, and then pretty much ends his turn by, I believe, going into the Greymon X antibody, passing me with 1. So I swing a security. It does die, so I don't have lethal on this turn, unfortunately, but I do get to use DarkKnightmon's effect to return the Skull Knightmon to hand to play the Deadly X-Mon. Get a pretty decent search here of a Dark Knight, a Cavalier, and an X antibody. So I'll take the Cavalier and the normal Dark Knight from BT7. And so I just go into the Cavalier mode here, and then I go into the Dark Knight, passing him to 3. So again, you know, still pretty big stack. I don't want to swing with my Tumons because I do want to keep him alive, and I know that he has a Metal Greymon in hand, so it feels pretty good in this situation because he can only get rid of 1 essentially. So he goes into the Metal Greymon to Digivolve the Dark Knight, and then deletes the Tumon, and that it just shows how important the Digicross stack is important, because if I was to go into the Deadly Axemon there on top, it could have been deleted. Obviously he's not going to delete it in this situation because he wants to get rid of the Tumons so he can use an additional 4 memory on his following turn. But yeah, so I swing into security, it's a tie, and at this point I'm just considering, like, I can't really go for lethal here. So what I realise is that the Greymon X antibody underneath is a 5 cost, so it allows me to go into the Dark Knight to Digivolve the Metal Greymon and then delete the Greymon X antibody, pretty much shutting him out of the game completely, because yeah, you can't really do much from this situation at all. And so he's going to try and build up another stack, but obviously he doesn't have the answer. I'm way too ahead at this point. It goes into the ex-ante, and then if he had the 4 additional memory from the red memory boost, he might be in a really good situation. He tried to go for Gongo, but quickly was told that there is no black sources on the field. Is what it is. And so he's just considering his options, see if there is an actual way out of this. I don't think there is, unfortunately. Unless he can clear the whole board, which is probably unlikely. So he goes for a Nokia here to play the Agu, and then the Agu effect to get a search off, essentially. There was someone in the background, not naming names, but they just didn't know what the card was, so they was complaining that you made the wrong play. I swing into security with the Monitormon, and then I swing for game. We then get into game 2, and we're a little bit ahead of the game currently, but unfortunately it didn't really matter because my opponent bricked pretty hard, to say the least, as you can see from his hand. And I have a pretty big board as is, so apologies. I don't like to, mess up with the recording here, but yeah, it's just how it happened, unfortunately. So I start swinging at security with the Cavalier mode, has a security attack +1. Swing with the monitor, it dies, but I get the Pagumon search. And yeah, I mean, I'm clearly in a really good position. I just want to showcase this because it was a best of 3. I didn't want to say that I cut a bunch of content out, essentially, but yeah, so I just get all these searches, and my opponent doesn't really have anything else to go for, goes for the Greymon, passes to me, and then I swing for game.